They must have a quota or something.
Right, good evening, everyone. Before we get officially started, we have one more minute. If there's anybody that would like to participate in the open forum, you can register on the blue sheets over there. The time will end for signups after we start the meeting. Thank you. Nothing more for invocation. Mm-hmm. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Those of you that are here, those of you that are watching us on Zoom, and those that will watch later. I'm going to call the order, the Rapid City Area School Board of Education regular meeting. Shirley, may we have a roll call, please?
Troy Carr.
Here.
Jamie Clapham.
Here.
Christine Stephenson.
Here.
Donna Moore.
Here.
Michael Berkland.
Here.
Walt Swan.
Here.
Katie Urban.
Here.
At this time, we'll have a 30-second moment of silence. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite everyone to stand and say our Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we entertain an approval for the proposed agenda, we are deleting item 9 kilo. So 9 kilo will be deleted. I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda, deleting item 9 kilo.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, persons wishing to address the board. We have 7 tonight, so the time limit will be 4 minutes for each person, 4 minutes. I'd like to read the guidelines so that we're all on the same page. Issues that affect an individual or particular school should be addressed at the building level. Speakers should speak clearly and concisely and should stay focused on their main points. Speakers must refrain from making complaints about personnel, either naming the employee directly or identifying them indirectly. Complaints regarding district policy should be filed in accordance with District Code KL Public Comments, and speakers must respectfully communicate. Speakers must refrain from making threats, using vulgar language, intimidating, or harassing the board or members of the district. With that being said, up first, we have Mrs. Weaver.
She's gonna help you.
Okay, good evening, Board. Well, I'm here this evening to speak about your policy BCA, letter J. It says, and this is the school board's code of ethics. It reads, "I will take no private action that will compromise the board or administration." And with that in mind, I will point out that one of your number has posted something in a very short time period after the assassination attempt on a presidential candidate that was very, very hurtful to a lot of people. Now, I'm not a kind of person that wants to think the worst of everyone. I don't. But there are times when we do things that an apology is in order. This policy here is an indication that you believe that you are accountable to each other and certainly to the public that elected you. And especially if that person is a public figure that sits on other boards, such as the Rapid City Community Relations Board. These are positions where you should lead by example. And I would encourage you as a board to ask for a public apology from the one of your members who has done this. I'm careful not to mention a name, but I think we all know the individual that did. I think apologies are in order, and when they are offered, they should be accepted. Right now, we are in the midst of a very public discussion about one of your employees who is taking a leave of absence due to something that was alleged that she said. This is something we have proof of. And I think that that apology was offered and should be accepted as well. So let's not think the worst of each other. Let's do what we need to do to heal when feelings and feelings are hurt. Yes, feelings are real, but we should do more to hold each other accountable. And when in a leadership position, this type of thing is unacceptable. And a real apology in my book is one that says, I'm sorry. I was wrong to do whatever it was. I regret any harm I may have caused. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Mrs. Thompson.
My name is Florence Thompson. I'm president of South Dakota Parents Involved in Education, SDPI, and I'm also a school psychologist with over 40 years experience in the schools. It has come to our attention that one of the RCAS school board members posted a joke on Facebook related to the assassination attempt on former president and current candidate for president, Donald Trump. This was an extremely serious event and should not be a matter for humor. One of the rally attendees, a father, was killed while covering his family with his body. This is an insensitive post and should be removed from Facebook, and an apology would be in order. We would appreciate the school boards weighing in on this matter, so the public would like an apology. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mrs. Redbear.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sunny Red Bear. I'm coming again to continue to ask the school board members to remove the superintendent. This decision is not just about leadership. It's about seizing an opportunity to create a new culture and climate within our schools that can transform the quality of education for our students. By making this change, you can set a precedent that values accountability, inclusivity, and well-being of every student. I really firmly believe that not holding individuals accountable for racist remarks sets a troubling precedent. It tells our students that their education and their lives are not valued, and we need to show them that we take their well-being very seriously and that we are committed to fostering an environment where they can thrive. Removing the superintendent is a crucial step in that direction. We did have an opportunity to have a meeting with President Carr here, and I thought it was a great conversation. I felt like it was definitely a way forward of learning. What we also learned in that conversation is that there's a lot of troubling things that are just still not connecting as far as like Native culture within the school system and within cultural sensitivity, and just it's very layered. And that's not, I don't want to fault that to anyone, but I want to say that it's a very serious issue that exists. And I think that as a school board, what we also learned is that you still have the ability to make the choice to remove the superintendent. Again, we're going to continue to show up, and we don't do that to be a negative voice, but we have listened to so many of our students and parents and families that come into our organization, my organization that I work at, and listening to them. We have a responsibility, just as you do, to be able to be that advocate for those that can't speak for themselves or don't have the opportunity. And what we've heard over the last few years has been very, very troubling, including violence, including kids dropping out because of racism. And I feel like this is our opportunity, and the opportunity is still here. And I think that by making a hard decision, but firm and principled decision, you're able to set a precedence that's going to help our community understand that in school we have a zero tolerance for violence. We should have a zero tolerance for racism. And so I just want to continue to voice my concerns and voice my my demand for the removal of the superintendent. We are in conversation as well, and with the Department of Education and the Office of Civil Rights as well. So I want you to know that it's not going to go away. Thank you.
All right. Mrs. Jean?
Jean Roach.
Jean Roach, Mrs.
Yeah.
Roach, thank you.
I'm from the Minicoju tribe, which is north of here, and been a pretty much lifelong resident of this town. I invited my grandkids to experience what's going on here because, for one thing, I'm real concerned about the superintendent just getting a slap on the hand. For one, you have rules in your school, and these guys all know about it, okay? And if they go and they call somebody a name in class, what's going to happen to them? They'll be taken to the office, maybe even suspended. Depends. My point is that you're letting someone that's an adult, an educator, that's been to college and has an education and knows better than to make racist comments about our people. I'm very concerned. I'm a parent, grandparent. And I have a lot more years coming. You see the youngest one there. I'll be here for a while. And I just want to make it better. And I hope you guys would want to do that too. And your message to the community is that you're going to let her get away with the highest position, one of them, in this rapid city, which is known for racism, to continue and be employed after she makes these kind of comments. What does that say? What is that saying to the whole country, really. It's an issue. And I think that our children might have to come here and tell you guys too. I mean, what about the teachers? Does anybody care what's right here? Does anybody? What about your staff? Are they scared to stand up against the board? And it's wrong. It's all wrong. Can any of you justify it? She should be fired on the spot. If someone did that in Dairy Queen or McDonald's, they'd be fired. And this is a professional position. I feel like you guys are just wasting our children's minds if you're going to leave that person in charge of their education. It don't make a very good example. Isn't that what she's supposed to be? And what are you teaching them? What are you telling them? It's okay to get away with racism? I think your message should be clear, and you have the power to change that message. And I ain't the only grandparent that's willing to come up here and state stuff, because we want to bring our children up here. We have high school students here that are just listening, and we're educating them on what's right and what's wrong. You should make the right choice and educate them what you think is right and what's wrong. You're making an example, and I feel like you should really think about what you're saying to the community, because we're tired of it, really. We're tired of the double standards and people looking down on us. And don't tell me the school system hasn't. I told you I'm a lifelong resident. All we want is change, and we want a safe environment for our children to learn. That's real simple, and I think that should be all your objectives for education. So please consider re-evaluating what you've said to this person by slapping her on the hand and letting her continue to be employed on the top position in Rapid City. What does that tell me? I mean, I'm just really upset about it. But I signed up and I did the things I'm supposed to do, okay? But really, we need change. Maybe you guys didn't think about how deep this issue is or how it's gonna affect your children. If you let her continue to be there, that message you're saying is not 2024. That's like 1800s or 1920s, 1960s, to allow her to continue to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. That's time.
Okay, well, I'm still saying.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mrs. Baxter?
Good evening, Board. I'm Heather Baxter. I appreciate your time. I was saddened to see that the invocation has been aborted. I'm surprised we're still allowed to say the Pledge of Allegiance, but I am grateful that we could do that. I would also encourage to continue to bring unity with allowing people from all different faiths to come in and still do the invocation. And I would also like to refer to the policy BCAJ as well, just in regards to addressing the inappropriate social media repost that I felt that was not any way of showing respect to the community. I know that the board has said in the past that they're wanting to not bring division or bring things that would cause issues amongst our community that would, whether it's biasness, whether it's disrespect. So I just feel that after somebody was killed, 2 people were in critical care and a person was shot in the head, that it's probably not the best time to bring forth jokes. In my opinion, it doesn't follow what the board policy is. And when you're an elected official, I guess one of the things that comes along with that is that you're held to a higher standard of choosing maybe more professionalism than that. So I feel that a community apology would probably be the best solution. And lastly, I feel like if there's such a problem currently with people having their kids in the school system and they're not happy with the current way things are being handled on the board or with the people that were placed on the board or have been chosen as hired to be on the board, that there's always the option of taking kids out of school and you can always homeschool them too. So RCS is not the only choice you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lee?
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to speak tonight. I've spoken before on the recent decision regarding the senior leadership at RCAS, and I just, I'm trying to wrap my head around, after the things that were documented in the OCR report, remarks that were made, attributed to a very specific person that were caused great injury, emotional injury to a great many people, how the board arrived at the decision that they did. And I'm thinking about, some folks have talked tonight about setting examples and being examples for the kids, for our children, for our youth, modeling behavior that we would like them to model themselves. And I think about leadership and I think about expectations. And there's certain expectations among, especially apex leadership positions, things that are allowed, things that are tolerated. And in certain instances like this, I just feel like I don't understand why it's being tolerated or allowed. And that, because in essence, that's what a lot of the community sees that was happening by the decision that was made and the action that was taken by the board. However, the more I think about it, the board is in the unique position and has, in this instance at least, the fortunate ability to be nimble and flexible regarding their decisions. Discussions I've had with President Carr have enlightened me on that there is the ability and that ability to have continued discussions or even to reverse course in regard to this decision. So that would be my ask of the board in my comments tonight, that you revisit that and you really take a good hard look at the depth of injury that was caused emotionally to so many people by all of this whole mess basically that has kind of taken place. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker, Ms. Martin.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anissa Martin, and I am an enrolled citizen of the Oglala Sioux tribe. Currently residing here in Rapid City and have multiple family members in the school system here in Rapid. And I'm reflecting a lot of what my friend, my sister Sunny had said, and Murray. Not holding individuals accountable for racist remarks sets a troubling precedent. It tells our students that their education and their lives are not valued. We need to show them that we take their well-being seriously and that we are committed to fostering an environment where they can thrive. Removing the superintendent is a crucial step in that direction. And it's not just about any personal things with the superintendent. It's much bigger than them. The superintendent is symbolic of what the current school system upholds when it comes to racism affecting our students and our community. You all have a unique opportunity here to provide a first step solution to the findings of the Office of Civil Rights report. Thank you.
Thank you. This time we'll have board response to open forums. Ms. Clapham.
Really briefly, one thing that I think everybody unfortunately knows is there really isn't public discussion of personnel, so I know that sometimes there's unsatisfactory or feelings of unresolved, and that's probably one of the hardest things about sitting in this chair, that there are things that cannot be discussed or detailed publicly, and that's, like I said, probably one of the hardest things of sitting in this chair. The other thing I wanted to quickly say is that invocation, as seen on the agenda, has never been removed or deleted. If no one chooses or signs up to perform the invocation, then we do a moment of silence, and that has been the practice for an extended period of time. So I just wanted to clarify that that is not the case, nor has ever been the case since it was added to the agenda. That is all.
All right, Mrs. Urban.
All right, thanks for coming this evening and for your advocacy and ongoing dialogue. I think it's really important, and I'm hopeful that it will result in action that will help us move forward. I don't want you to leave our school district. I want you to stay and I want you to feel safe. I want your kids to feel safe and get a good education. And so I think we have a tangible list with the OCR report and agreement with things that are going to be good for our district, and I'm excited to get busy. Certainly, there's a lot more conversation to be had, but I think that's a step in the right direction. But again, I appreciate you coming and your ongoing advocacy.
Thank you. Mr. Berkeley.
Thank you. I don't have much different than these two have put very eloquently. But I also just wanted to say thank you for coming, and I just wanted to respond in some way, because I know sometimes it feels like I'm not listening or we're not listening if I don't. And so I mostly just wanted to kind of say the same things that they said, that this is an ongoing conversation. I do appreciate you all coming and sharing these things and in keeping this in the forefront of our conversations as well.
Ms. Stephenson.
Well, yeah, I got about the same sentiments that the three of you have. But I did want, I wish that the young folks were still here. I wanted to thank you all, everybody who commented tonight. I think this is a good, I think you all made a very good example of how to take civic action. Your comments, all of them are heard and will make a difference. So we appreciate you coming, and the young people next time, they certainly can speak as well if they'd like. And I'd always love to hear from them. So thank you for being here.
All right, Mr. Swan.
Thank you, President Carr. I would like to address the idea that, I think one of the things is that we're some of the original inhabitants of Rapid City, and public education is meant for the public. I don't think it's an option that you need to pull from the school district in order to make this happen. I think that you're going to be, I think our population, the Native population, is going to feel more welcome, and there's going to be a lot done in the coming months. I've seen all the planning. President Carr has asked me to sit on a couple committees to help. So I think that the voice of the Native students will be heard. In regards to Ms. Baxter and to Ms. Weaver and to Florence Thompson, I agree. I sincerely apologize for that post. I meant to delete it, but I was like, it was just one of those things. We had a very busy week at the shop. I make no excuses for what I did. I sincerely apologize to the community. My intent was not to cause division. It was not to cause anything of that nature. But it's social media. I was just having a little, I just don't know what happened. I meant to delete it. It's been deleted from my account, and I truly hope that you accept my apologies and we can move forward. Thank you.
All right. I want to thank Mrs. Red Bear, my Indian organization, for speaking with me. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, the openness, the frankness. I did learn a lot. My understanding has changed. And Mrs. Martin, I took most your words out of that meeting, and I've told other people, and it's challenged me to use this position to stamp out racism and to deal with racism. So thank you for that insight. All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing no hands, we have no conflict of interest. I'll entertain I guess I should, does anybody need an item need a A or B from A pool? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of proposed agreements.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed agreements. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, motion carries. I forget to
Use that thing.
my gavel. All right, item 9, any member would like to pull from item 9? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proposed consent agenda.
So moved. Except
moved.
item, K.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's already been removed.
Yes,
We
but
approved the agenda.
Just
All
a
right.
reminder.
Thank you. Okay, for clarification, I appreciate that. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. All right, moving along.
President Carr, who made the motion in second? Jamie and, well, thank you.
Shirley, I can slow down that process. I didn't know you needed to record. Okay, okay, all right, I will do that. All right. Brown and Brown. We have a board, information, items for board information, Brown and Brown presentation. All right. I was assured by Coy this would take 3 minutes. No, I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking with you.
I always give you your money's worth, so. All right, so I'll keep this pretty short. You know, the last time we were here, probably about a month or so ago, we were talking about some important items as they relate to the budget for the employees, staff's employee benefits and how that impacts district costs. We did do a little brief overview of the claim reports for the data that we have through May. We actually just completed one and sent that to the finance team and to human resources this morning, and the trend continues to be good. However, on the monthly reporting through May, things are running toward a cost expectation. District's running at about $12 million of spend, $12.4 million of spend on claims. And that would also relate to about a 5.7% increase over last year in terms of claims change. Medical trends about 8%. So we're doing a little bit more favorably than that. And in terms of the budget, we're running about 87% of budget, which is fantastic. So we've got a little bit of a surplus going of around $2 million, which is great. This also translates into about a 5% improvement over where the district was last year from a cost perspective. And as I mentioned last time, moving to the renewal of the benefits, the biggest budget item is the medical plan. And you can see that there was a lot of work done on some of these other benefits, but I'm going to spend just about all the time here on the medical plan, which drives costs for the district and also your team, your staff. I think you might remember, what did I tell you last time, board? 7.1% increase, but we were able to, I felt we were able to, with some of the performance around the pharmacy, drugs, along with some of the improvement in claims, we were able to move that down to about a 5.7% increase from the 7% increase that we had projected. So that was a significant move there. That also translates into costs that the staff would also be paying as well. You know, there's a lot of numbers on this page, but the key thing here I just wanted to point out is the bar graph up in the upper right-hand corner, just to kind of remind everyone that when we're looking at an overall budget of approximately $19 million per annum for just the medical spend, 87% of that is all, 87 or 88%, let's call it, is all claims. Okay, so that's the cost to, you know, pay for Band-Aids and medicines and everything else. The moniker name of Wellmark is 3.8%. That's administration costs to provide customer service and do all the service work to paying claims and so forth. And then the risk part of it, the excess stop loss insurance, that represents about 8.4% of that total budget. So clearly the majority of it is the actual claims that the district pays. One nice little addition that we are going to be implementing that hopefully a lot of the district team members that utilize the pharmacy plan for specialty medications will enjoy is we were able to negotiate a $0 copay by taking advantages of administrative efficiencies with Wellmark's new partner, Prudent RX. And that's going to save the district upwards of a couple $100,000 a year. And it's not a lot of money, but it's something. But the other piece of it too, is it helps better manage some of those claims for individuals have to pay a lot for specialty medications. And by going through this program, they're able to get it for $0 copay. So it's a real win for the member themselves. All right. In terms of the overall budget, we kind of, show district costs, staff costs, and so forth here on this page. Really, we just boiled down the Wellmark. The Delta dental increase of about 3%. The standard has all your life and disability coverages. The global increase on that is a total of 5.5%, or roughly a district cost increase of about $791,000 total. Any questions? Was that under 3 minutes?
So the 5.7% increase in claims, is there a look into, I think sometimes people are actually just maximizing using their benefits. Are we seeing that it's more illness necessarily, more people actually using their preventative care, or is it hard to tell? What?
Well, we run a lot of analytics and things like that. So much of it has to do with demographics on your population, like age and so forth. And as you know, we have a lot more younger staff coming on the plan and we age out over time. There is certainly a lot more preventative, I believe, and maintenance types of things going on. Things are being caught earlier than they historically were a few years ago. We did make some plan design changes last year to encourage people getting in to see the doctors and the medical teams earlier by lowering deductibles, but then having more an efficient cost share environment where people that had more significant types of claims, they were sharing more skin in the game because we increased the out-of-pocket maximums a little bit. So there's the deductible, and then there's the out-of-pocket maximums. We lowered the deductible to get into the cost share arrangement, but then we also increased slightly last year the what we call the maximum out-of-pocket. So, and that really affects maybe 4% of your population, but hopefully they're doing some things better to help them and their families and so forth go forward. Yeah, so that's all part of that process. Yes.
Is that about inflation too, or?
Inflation's around 8.5.
So we're lower than
Yes,
inflation.
correct.
Correct.
Yes. And, the fund balance from what I can tell is good as well too. Because we had a pretty good claims year, and the contributing to the fund balance, the favorable fund balance was the fact that we had some good prescription drug rebate activity, which was stronger than anticipated. Mr. Sassy.
Thank you very much, Mason. Just a couple brief comments, President Carr. I think the question that both Christine and Jamie asked were good questions and leads a little bit into the thought. I think sometimes making the connection between hearing, hey, our plan is actually running really well and costs are under where we projected, and then saying, but we still have an increase of whatever that is. And in this case, having it come down 1.4% is a big deal. But that can be hard to connect sometimes. And so Mason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for your information board, it really is not a reflection of the plan running unfavorably or inefficiently. It's more a reflection of the way the industry is trending, what Mason and his group believe the cost increase is going to look like as we move into next year, rather than it is about the plan not running the way that Brown and Brown thought it was going to, or inefficiently. Is that a fair way to say that, Mason?
I would say it's a very, very good, your finance mind is running perfectly, Coy. The one thing I just put back on the screen here, if you want to get into the nerdiness stuff like I do, I mean, the worst case scenario is a $24 million call. Okay. We budget at 5% over the cost expectation based on our underwriting. You're going to have, being a self-funded plan or partially self-funded plan over time, there's going to be ebbs and flows. We have great experience and not so good experience. What we're trying to do is put that, actuarial dart in the middle so that, we're not asking for huge increases one year and no increases from everyone on a great year. So we're just trying to thread the needle from a fiscally responsible standpoint, because literally the district would have to come up with $5.4 million if we had a worst case scenario in 2025, 2024-25 plan year. So, and we know that this fund balance is strong, but you can't put undue burden on a fund balance when all of a sudden then you got to make a huge adjustment for it a year from now. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense too.
Certainly makes sense to me, but you and I are sometimes the only people that care about this in the room.
Yeah.
And then just second brief comment, I would agree totally with Mason's comment. Plan ran well, probably going to be under in terms of expenses, which adds to the fund balance, which puts the whole cycle into a really good place. So thank you to Mason and his team. They do a really excellent job helping us administer this benefit plan and keeping us in a good place overall.
Right. Thank you, Clay. And thank you, members of the board. We really appreciate working with your school district here. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Mr. Powers, I know we give you a hard time, so please take it in the spirit that it's meant. This is a very important subject, important for our employees. Appreciate all the time that you spend doing these charts and the presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We love doing it.
All right. Any other questions?
The faster they ask you to go, Mason, the more they like you. So, same here.
All right. Item B, CTE Innovative Equipment Grant for 2024. Assuming is that just?
Yeah. That was the equipment grant that we discussed in the agenda setting meeting, and I attached the equipment that was
Yes.
awarded, and it was over $200,000.
Okay.
And I believe this is just for acknowledgement of the board's information that we received it and what the amount was, President Carr.
Okay, I don't know if I have the authority to make this decision, but let's try it and we'll see what happens. We did not put on the agenda section for other. So
Oh, yes, you
I
can.
will invoke other. Does any board member have a other to present tonight? Okay, seeing none, we didn't need it anyway, so. All right, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session 1-25-2.1 and 2.3.
Motion.
Okay, that was Mrs. Urban and Mr. Swan with the second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, we will take a 2-minute.
I know.
Does anybody need a break at this point?
I'd like 2 minutes, please.
Okay, we'll take a 2-minute break and then